All right. Hello, everyone. We are live today. We are a tiny bit late from the normal time, but Wellness Mondays. And we are talking this week specifically about one of our four pillars that we have. And the fourth pillar, yeah, last week was eat superfoods, and we focused on the importance of eating the right nutrition and what that entails and the impact there. And now we're going to focus on the next important pillar, inspire abundance. A lot of people I've noticed, and you probably noticed as well, so many people are doing the right things, eating well. They're doing the exercise and doing everything right there. They're avoiding all the toxins and doing everything right there. But they're sick financially, right? And that alone is enough to keep them still feeling sick in their body. So it is another key pillar to inspire abundance, and that's what we're going to talk about this week. So if you want to share a little bit about that, maybe a little bit about your abundance story and how you, and yeah, just go from there.
Absolutely. So my abundance story happened at the worst time and the best time. I mean, during COVID, I heard so many stories of everyone telling me they were losing their jobs. They don't have income. It was the worst time in the world. But you know what? Honestly, Kevin and everyone else that's watching, it was the best time of my business. What happened is I had an amazing transformation story. My family had an amazing transformational story. People that would recommend this to had amazing, mind-blowing stories. So you know what I did? I started to use, this thing that we're on all the time. We're on this device all the time. And you know what? It's called smartphone for a reason, right? So being on the phone, being on social media, we're home, we can't go out. I was living in Montreal, Canada, and we had lockdowns. We couldn't do anything. So I focused all of my attention to online and I started connecting with people who were going through the exact and worse or better issues than what I was going through. And we started sharing stories. We started sharing stories and I started telling them about, what's a great way to earn income ethically, right? And start transforming our financial health. And maybe sometimes it's not about making, millions of dollars. Maybe it's always about, getting a new like dishwasher repaired, getting a new couch, right? Small things made a huge difference to so many families. So what we started doing, we started sharing this. We started sharing the gift of health. We started sharing the gift of gut repair. We started sharing what we've been using. We started sharing it with others. And then when I started noticing so many people have limiting beliefs when it comes to abundance and when it comes to money. And that plays a huge part on your physical health. Because what happens if you have all of these financial woes, your cortisol level spikes, right? You gain weight, you become more exhausted, your whole nervous system doesn't start working for you. It's working against you. So once we start sharing the abundance and everything with everyone, we start connecting, like-minded individuals like us, we started seeing not only were they having a physical transformation, their bank accounts were transforming at the same time. And that just brought another level of happiness and joy. And they wanted to share it more because they were like, is this true? Does this actually happen? And I'm like, yes, this is what we've been sharing. We authentically share our ethical living, our ethical farming to everyone out there. There's so many people who are talking about doing good. And I've been seeing so many places online, they're sharing that glyphosate video that how they're spreading glyphosate everywhere, but no one's really sharing a solution. They're just sharing, let's get a pesticide out of our food and in our environment. And the reality is, we are the only company that has the solution for this. And we can build an empire by sharing these solutions.
Even if you stop spraying today, it'll be in the environment for 100 years. People always need to be getting that out of their system, right? And yeah, so I mean, I definitely see you and was inspired you and by you and what you did. You shared this with someone, that was one of my friends, right? And she shared it with me, right? And I was like-minded, all those things that you said, and I wanted to help people, and I didn't know what to do because I was stuck also I was in the restaurant industry for 15 years. And so I lived that lifestyle. I opened restaurants all over the world. When I first decided to eat these foods, and I was like, okay, I believe in this, I was living in the Middle East, opening restaurants over there. That's why I was there, right? And I felt I was doing a disservice to people, unethical. I was not being ethical. I started to feel like that. Not in the beginning, until I learned more about the food I was serving, right? And I'm like, wait, I'm part of the problem. I'm not part of the solution. I'm causing problems by serving this food to people, right? And that was one of my shifts, that I wanted to change, right? And I remember we got locked down and there wasn't very many options, right? And what you could do, right? And I remember I was able to go to Belize, right? And be able to work from my phone, work anywhere, while helping people. And you think like people are like, yeah, well, I got a farm and I grow my food and I'm good. You know what I mean? And that's amazing. And that's the goal for a lot of people, right? And I did that. We were growing a lot of food and we could have eaten from the land if we wanted to. Um, but you know what I couldn't do? I couldn't help people that way, right? I couldn't send them my pineapples and my coconuts from the tree. You know what I mean? Well, the pineapples from the ground and the coconuts from the tree. And like, even if I did, it would spoil, right? So there wasn't a great solution. I see people like that. They're like, oh, look at, we got this organic farm and it's beautiful and everything's pristine and great for you, right? And that's amazing. It's hard for them to give that to other people and help, right? If that's what you want to do, right? So what they do is they might recommend it like, oh, buy this juicer, okay, that's awesome. You know what I mean? Maybe you go buy that juicer, right? But then you're in the area with the low quality fruit you're juicing, maybe low quality stuff. You're not juicing what that person in the video is juicing, that inspired you to get the juicer. So we have the opportunity to give around the world people food, that they need, right? And provide an incredible service. So I went from like, serving fast toxic food to like serving fast superfood that's like changing people's lives, right? Is one of the ways that I look at it, right? So we want to share, like, for people that are like that are thinking, right, that they want something like that. Maybe they want time freedom. That was the other thing. It's like, holy crap, I was stuck in places, I couldn't go where I wanted to go. Actually, the reason why I was in other countries is because I love traveling. I was like, I go up in restaurants in other places. Like that kept me going for a little bit because I liked that, and but you're capped, you're limited, all the politics, all the challenges. And then like we're like, you open your own restaurant, open a vegan restaurant. Oh my gosh, open a raw vegan restaurant, right? But I know the ins and outs of every single restaurant, all the challenges, right? Eventually, you're forced to sacrifice quality if you want to make any kind of profits. There's just no way around it. You're squeezed everywhere, from the distribution to the overhead to the rent cost to the cost of employees to the cost of food cost. All of that stuff is going up. So it wasn't like a viable, like long-term solution, right? So it didn't make sense, right? But this was like a food solution that made sense, for people that do food, and you can work wherever you want and make a bigger impact. Okay, let's say, I have the restaurant. I'm not going to help as many people, right, as you can help. Thousands and thousands of people, you can help way more, right? Some people think, oh, an online thing. Well, actually, you could help more with an online thing than a single restaurant, even though that restaurant could be pretty great, you might need, hundreds of restaurants to be started making, the big impact, right? But then you have that's a whole nother level of challenges. Managing multiple, you think one is hard? Managing multiple is tough, right? So like these are some things, right? So let's share, okay? Some solutions, right? That's another thing is solutions. So I want to share my screen right now and we'll talk about it. An opportunity, this is for people that are like this, you've made it this far, you're already thinking, yeah, like, okay, tell me, like, what do I got to do, right? So this is what you got to do, right? So I'm going to share my screen right here, and there's a couple of slides that we have right here. So if you are, let me see. Oh, yeah, I can see. So if you're interested and you love this lifestyle and you want to say yes to having a lifestyle like that, right? And you can get your own personalized gift code and start building a team of residual income today. You can start now if you want, right? And this is me, and this is Allison who introduced me, and this is Jared, right? So do you want to share a little bit about maybe this page and residual income and Allison and Jared?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, like when I met them, they were online, they were sharing everything they loved, right? Cooking, baking. And I'm like, this is amazing. Everything she's talking about is what I stand for. It's part of my values. But you know what? Those things that she's sharing weren't great. They weren't great. And I was in that situation. You don't know what you don't know. So I was like, you maybe you want to take a look at these things. These are a lot better than when you're actually using. And she invited me open arms to her house. She's like, come over. As soon as I got over and I saw everything, and I'm like, try this, do this, and she's like, this is amazing. And she started sharing it and she started using it. And she's like, my body became addicted to these nutrition. It became addicted. I started feeling amazing. So she started sharing it. She started sharing it to every single person she met. And you know what? My business expanded. Her business blew up. I mean, like, this is how our business works. All you need to do is share the gift forward. And then you build a team of like minded individuals. Do you love to travel? I do. Do you like time freedom? I need it. I mean, like, who doesn't love all of these things? As Kevin mentioned, he loves to travel. I love to travel. During COVID, this allowed me to build an empire with my family, with my team. And I was allowed to move to Miami with my family. I mean, what other business that you can be in, that you can travel anywhere and still be available? We're always available. We're one Zoom call away. We don't hear you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like everything you said, like I mean, I saw them sharing and they inspired me. And like even before that, we started working together online. We had the mindset of like we could help people with like these platforms. Like the mindset wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna use social media for attention and entertainment, which a lot of people do, that's fine, right? But I was like, no, wait, this is a really good tool. I can use this to help others, right? Really, it started with animals first, right? And they're really the underlying reason for making an impact because who's eating the animals, you know? And so they inspired me, right? Or we were working together on things like that, like different projects and stuff like that. And we're like, hey, why don't you? I was like, hey, why don't you try this thing? Like, well, let's help these people and let's work together. We did some things over there. I was like, hey, let's do an interview. Let's talk about your kids, and what they're doing and how they're living their lifestyle, And then I'm like, she's like, hey, I have this opportunity, it can help you, with your gut health and I know you're dealing with that and more nutrition and stuff like that. And there's an opportunity, right? And so it's just like this. We were already had the mindset of like, helping people, and like also the mindset of we understood like partnering up with others. Like I can't create a food company. Like I know what that's like. You know what I mean? Like, and it's really hard, right? And doing anything alone is really hard, right? I understand partnering with like-minded individuals, like-minded companies, people that are on a mission. Like I've done all kinds of teamwork kind of things, like let's say activism, wherever, we're working as a team for a common goal. All that stuff is important. And that's like the main of what we do. My favorite sport is American football because of the teamwork. I love the teamwork, and I love all the things they talk about teamwork. And like my favorite coach is always talking about love and teamwork, and like that's like what he talks about, So it's like all in alignment, right? So let's go next. So real impact and real income. That's the other thing. I was like, I felt like I was making impact. I'm feeding the world with all these restaurants we're opening, but I was not making an impact, right? This is a real impact, right? Like like you've seen all the things that we share in general of impact, but like real impact of changing people's lives, right? In so many ways. You want to share something on this one?
Absolutely. Like you, I really, really wanted to make an impact. It was my like burning desire. But how? How? I tried so many things. I built so many programs. I would send it to my clients and I would build it. And I'm like, do this for 30 days. And my list was basically the power shake, was everything that was there. And they would look at it and they're like, oh, we can't find amaranth anywhere. And they would scrap the whole program. They couldn't find one ingredient. And I'm like, no, just stick to it. But just doing that, it was so overwhelming for them. So they were like, you know what? I can't do this. I'm not ready. I don't have the time. I need something easy. And I'm like, easy. What do I do? What do I do? And when Purium fell into my it fell into my life at the right time possible, right? Timing is everything. And when it got introduced to me, I was like, this is everything that I was trying to create, that I was trying to build myself. So this was the impact that I desperately needed.
I was trying the same thing. I was juicing everything, doing all the superfoods, buying everything from all these different places. I like was following someone like you that had the program. You know what I mean? And I couldn't do it for all the things that you were saying. It was too time consuming. I was working so many hours at my job. I couldn't fit that in. And then I would eat the whatever green juice that I made, right? And then I'd still be hungry and I'd end up eating the pizza, right? And so I'm like, I'm just adding this in. I'm not really, it wasn't enough to make an impact, you know? And so easy was important for me. Convenient was important for me, right? And taste, like most green juice, like doesn't taste good. It's super sweet, right? That's very, very important in terms of like even people that understand, like I got it, I understood, and I was still giving up. Imagine like the people that like, they don't get it, you know? You don't have to get it. Some people are like, you don't have to understand it. You just need to follow a simple program and feel great. You don't have to understand everything. So in business, by yourself, not or for yourself, but not by yourself. Like you own your own business, right? If you decide to do this, it's your business. You could do essentially what you want with your business, as long as it's ethical, right? But in terms of how you want to run it, but it's better to work as a team, right? And it's more ideal and it's more fun, right? And it's a lot easier, right, to do it by your team. Think of all the things that you try to do by yourself, and like all programs that you created yourself, or I've created a bunch of things by myself, and it's hard doing it by yourself. Like having someone like you in my corner to work with, and vice versa. I'm sure you feel, like there's a symbiotic relationship, right? And that's how nature is. That's how the animals and the plants are. It's symbiotic. They work together, right? And that's what we do. So you get paid to live the life of your dreams while transforming lives. So you could be your own boss, right? Create your own, create how you want to run this business. There's thousands of different ways I've seen people run their business, and we can go over so many ways. I mean, you see how Taz does it, how I do it. That's two different ways, but there's thousands of different ways that you can run it. Time freedom, which is like literally the most important thing probably for most people. Financial freedom, choose the people you work with. How many times do you have a job or a place you work with, like, dang, like I don't really resonate with these people. You know what I mean? Maybe there's toxicity and you can't get away from it, but you have to clock in every day and be around the toxicity, or whatever the situation is. You choose who you want to work with. You say, I don't want to work with that person, fine. I want to work with that person, fine. You know what I mean? You get to choose, right? It's your choice. Location freedom, like I said, you have internet, right? We didn't have internet for a second, so we were paused for a minute, but then we figured out internet and we're good to go, right? And anywhere, right? You want your Belize, you go to the Middle East if you want. You go to Italy, people working in Italy. You go to any parts of Europe, parts of Miami, right? Most places have internet, right? Infinite income possibilities, right? So that's great. Because it's infinite, it's not capped. A lot of times they're like, you work at a job and you have a salary, and there is no more you can make, no matter what you do, no matter how many hours you work, no matter whose butt you kiss. You're not likely to get above the boss, the CEO, or anything like that. Whereas like literally, like there's tons of people that even this business they created, like there's tons of people that make more than the CEOs and founders, beyond. right? No overhead, no inventory commitment, no shipping responsibilities. As anyone that's done any kind of business anywhere, these are probably the killers. These are what take people out. This is what takes people out of the restaurant industry that I came from. These are the things that take independent business owners out. They're self-employed and all those things. They're like, oh, this is too much, right? So you factor in whatever you're spending, all that you're spending, and then whatever you're making, your bottom line, your basic bottom line, your profits. What is that, right? This often kills your profits. You could be profitable in the first week, first month. That's unheard of in business, right? The least amount of investment you make is like $80. What business is the small investment like that, that gets also the high return like that? That's where a lot of people don't see the value, right? Because most people are used to spending a lot and then taking it real serious, which is better for you. Invest in your health, invest in yourself, and then be like, yeah, I'm gonna take my business more seriously. Anything on this page you want to add or say?
No, and you know what? It's fun. It's fun when you work with other people just like you. The business becomes seamless. It becomes better. It becomes easier. I never look at this as something that, expansion is harder, how normal corporate America is. This is fun. This is great. It's like, yes, what do you want to do now? What's your idea? I just love planning and brainstorming and creative different outlooks together.
Yeah, I agree. Like every time we get together, it's like the most fun you'll ever have. And that's what it should be like. Whereas you think of any work that you do, it's oftentimes the opposite. You're like, dang, I can't wait till I clock out. So turning health into wealth, you can learn more about the compensation plan and how to make money here. So this has the details, like to really break down, like how does it work, right? How do you get to make multiple six figures and beyond, or whatever your goal is? And that's the other thing, is everyone's goals are different. Some are like, what are your goals, right? Think about that. What would it look in your life if you had an extra $1,000 per month? What would that mean to you? What would you do? Like, think about that. What do you need? Maybe you're like, shoot, I'm short every month. I'm short 1,000 on what I really want to do. Maybe that's just what you need to break even. Maybe you're like, I'm not looking to break even. I'm looking to start like saving and stacking and buying land and accomplishing like these dreams that I had before I didn't think was possible. That's where my mind started to expand. I used to think I had to go to school, get good grades, get a good job, and I had to go back to college in order to become accomplished or successful and do the things I want to do. So when I realized, wait a second, there's another alternative that doesn't include all of those things that I didn't really like. Let's do that, right? Let's learn about that. So scan that QR code to learn more about that. The owners of this are committed long term, forever. They're never going to sell. They're never going to offer it up to any other corporate interest. They own the farm, most of the farms. They own the manufacturing. They own the process. Dave Sandoval and Amy Venner, they're are your partners in business, right? We're partners. We become partners. This is not I do as I say, you do, what I say. This is a partnership, right? So you ideally want people that aid in the partnership. They're in alignment. They want to make this even better. They see the vision and want to make it even better. That's an ideal partnership, right? And so that's that. You could scan here to learn more about how to become a brand partner. Just what does that mean? Right? Like, what does that even mean? Like your financial freedom. We talked a lot about it already, but it just breaks it down more. Here, I'm just going through because we have a time limit, a little bit quick, but we have business stories here. So you can see a bunch of people. You take screenshots of this, take a picture, read it on your own terms, but like, who are these people? We know most of these people in person. We met them and we love them. But think about, does this resonate with you? Is this like, sometimes people think, well, how does that resonate with me? Right. And you could read some of this, like maybe like this busy mom of 4 little boys. Sometimes busy moms are like, no way, can't do anything extra. I'm too busy. Right. Living the organic lifestyle for many years, joined and earned superfoods for free. So that's another thing. You get free food, depending on what you do. Earn $500 in bonuses, commissions in the first month. Right. That's pretty great on top. And then excited about helping our friends and family up level their health to feel their best. So that's one example from Anne. There's a few other examples, right? There's lots of people, and sometimes you might not realize how many people there are around the world that are just like you, that are helping other people and being really successful at it. And so if you want to enroll, there's an information here on how to enroll. But what I recommend for anyone that's watching this, right, is two things. If you're watching the replay, get back to the person that invited you to this, and they'll walk you through it, because that's always the best way to learn how to do it. And then if you're working directly with us, reach out directly to me or Taz, and we'll get you started right. We'll help set you up, but also plug you into all the systems, because there's so many tools and community and help and aid and support that can guide you. Because that's the other thing. Like I said, you're not alone, and you don't want to do this alone, because that's one of the hardest things that I find for anyone, no matter what you do, entrepreneur, business, any kind of style like that, being alone is really hard. Anything you want to add to wrap it up?
No, just message us if you're ready to get started, and we will help walk you through and guide you through everything. I mean, it's a beautiful community, and the more you know, the more you love. It's something that the more I investigated about this company, the more I was impressed. And, having a small ownership is really important to me. There's so many companies that sell out at the end, to a bigger company. And they're very ethical, and they want to keep it small, and they want to give back to the people always.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Same time next week. And love you all. Bye, guys.
Bye.